Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today's lesson is about why you want to become a business owner and an investor. Okay, so this is my personal experience that I'm sharing with you, all right? And it's very important because this concept that I'm going to share with you may change your life forever. In fact, it will probably change your life forever. Now, if you're listening into this and you happen to be working in a job right now for a company, just take note that there's nothing wrong with working in a job. All right. If you're still a student, you're still in school and you're watching me, right? This may set you on a path that allows you to really become financially free and wealthy and retire rich and retire younger. Okay, and retire young, in fact, right? If you're retired already, you've already left your job and you're just looking for something different, well, now is the time. Okay, it's never too late to start to become a business owner and also become an investor. All right, so whatever age group you belong to doesn't matter, because this concept is global. All right, and it applies to every age, wherever you are. Okay, so I want to share with you, right, two books that actually changed my life forever. Now, at the time of this recording, okay, of this video, right, I'm actually 42 years old. But when I was 20, and in my 20s, okay, I remember it's 21 years old. I was still in school, right, and I was studying in university as a computer science undergraduate, okay, and somebody, a friend, right, actually asked me to read a book by Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, and the book is called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And this book really literally changed my life. Right, this Robert Kiyosaki is a best-selling author in the world, and this book Rich Dad Poor Dad, right, has been sold millions of copies all over the world, translated into tens of different languages. So in the book, he talks about how he, as a young boy, he had two fathers. He had what we call a rich dad and a poor dad. Okay, and his actual, his real father by birth is the poor dad, who is actually working as a school teacher and employee. But the rich dad, which is his friend's father, is actually an entrepreneur, a businessman. So he talks about how he goes through his life, learning different things from his natural dad, which is the employee, and the rich dad, which is the friend's dad, which is an entrepreneur, who is very wealthy and successful. And all these lessons that he shared with us is very powerful. So if you have not read this book yet, please go to the bookshop, right? It will be right in front on what we call the success and personal development books section. You'll definitely be able to find it in whatever country you're from. Right, go and buy this book, okay, and read it. And if you have children, right, leave that book for your child to read, someday, okay, because it will also help them a lot. Right, I know it helped me a lot in my life. Okay, so Rich Dad Poor Dad, and his second book is called Cash Flow Quadrant. All right, and Cash Flow Quadrant actually really breaks down what Robert teaches us about how to become financially free and succeed earlier in life. Okay, so he breaks it down into a quadrant, and in that quadrant he talks about four types of people. Okay, four types of people. They call it ESBI. Okay, so ESBI. Now I'm going to explain this concept to you because it really helped me in my journey through my life the last 20 odd years. Okay, so E stands for employee, and it means that you have a job. Okay, there's nothing wrong with having a job. But the problem with having a job is that you don't have time, because you have to report to work whenever your boss asks you to, right? And usually it's like a 8 to 5, 9 to 5 kind of job. Some of you even work 8 to 8 because you have overtime every day. All right, so it's like a fixed routine. Now, most people are okay with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is you don't have freedom of time. And also you don't have financial freedom. Why? Because you are working either hourly to get an hourly salary, hourly wage, or you're just working for a fixed monthly wage, okay, monthly salary. All right, and this is it's fixed. Okay, you cannot like suddenly say I want to increase my pay by twice or 3 times. That's the problem with having a job, and that's the problem with what we call being an employee. All right, do you agree? Okay, I'm sure you agree with what I'm saying here. All right, so the next thing is S. Okay, so you're self-employed. Now self-employed means that you own a job. What do we mean by that? So an example would be someone like a doctor. Okay, a doctor owns his own job because he's self-employed, or a consultant, or an accountant, or a lawyer, right? Or even a taxi driver, okay? Or now we have Uber, right? Or in my country it's called Grab. So you're a Grab or Uber driver. So once again, right, imagine this: if you're a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, an accountant, when you stop going to work, when you stop doing your legal cases, when you stop seeing patients, right, when you stop doing accounts, right, when you stop driving your car to make a living, to make money, your income stops. Okay, so that's the problem with being a self-employed. Okay, so usually people have to work very hard to become a doctor, study many years, spend almost like hundreds of thousands of dollars, even to millions of dollars, to become a specialist doctor. All right, and of course, if they work very hard every day, they see a lot of patients, they do a lot of cases, they make a lot of money. All right, but the problem is once they stop, they have no income. Okay, so that's the problem with the self-employed. So if you look at the picture that I'm showing you right now, if you're on the left side, you're the employee or the self-employed, your problem is you do not have time freedom. Okay, and you have to work in order to generate income. Right. Now there's a difference on the people on the right side. Okay, so if you look at the picture, the right, it's talking about B and I, and that's where I am and where I learned over the years to move myself away from the left side to the right side. Okay, so just like every average normal person, I have been through part-time jobs, trying to make some money here and there, and true enough, right, if I don't work, I don't have money, right? So I told myself I have to move to the right side. Now what is B? B is a business owner. What is business owner? Business owner is you actually run a company, right? So it's different from self-employed. Self-employed is you're working by yourself. You're the boss. You're your own boss, right? You probably have no employees. But if you have a company, you actually have to spend the money to go to a special either a agency or a government department and set up an entity. It could be a partnership with a friend, or it could be a what we call a limited company, right? So you have to go and pay some money to register it, and it becomes an independent entity. And this entity, right, is independent from your personal self. Okay, what does that mean? Right, it means that it can operate independently as a business. It can earn money on its own. It has to report taxes on its own. It can write off expenses like your transport, your phone bills, so that you can deduct it away from your daily expenses and deduct it away from your profits, and you pay your taxes on what you earn as a company. It can also be sued, right, legally, okay, separate from your personal self. All right, so this is very important because when you own a business, right, you really start to understand how the rich make money. Okay, so a company, a business, right, is where you have a system. You set up a system, right? The system could be a shop, it could be a website, it could be it could be like a how should I put it, like it could be a group of employees. Okay, I think that's the best way I can put it. All right, and these people or this website or this group of employees, they actually work every day for you, and they go out, they do sales. The website does the sales for you, and it makes money for you while you are doing something else. Okay, so I hope you get what I mean here. All right, basically you could be playing golf with your friends, or you could be sleeping, but the business system is still working. All right, so it's independent from you, and the business system is actually still generating money for you, right, and generating income for you. All right, so what we call a business owner is really someone who owns a system that works for you and makes money for you while you are doing something else. Okay, Now, the best category to be in is I, which is investor. What does investor mean? It means that an investor, okay, does not depend on a company, a business to make money. An investor uses money to grow more money. How does that work? Okay, basically, an investor will be someone who invests in your company. Maybe he buys some shares, so he owns some shares of your company, and you have to pay him because he's a part owner of your company. But he doesn't work, he doesn't go to your office, he doesn't report to work. He stay at home, he does whatever he likes. He just owns a part of your company. So if your company makes $1 million this year and he owns 10% share, and you have a profit of, say, $500,000, you probably have to pay him a 10% share of that profits, okay, as his what we call his investment returns. Okay, so depending on the agreement that you have with your investor. All right, so an investor could be someone who actually buys shares of a public listed company. A public listed company can sell its shares to anybody who has the money, and every year, right, the public listed company may decide to pay what we call dividend income. And that dividend income is from the profits of that company to their shareholders. So that investor who owns shares actually collects money every year or every quarter while he's sleeping, okay, because he owns shares in that company. All right, and if that investor decides one day that because your share value of your company went up, say 100% or 50%, that investor could decide to sell off those shares and he makes a profit. So actually that creates income for the investor as well. Okay, so there's many ways an investor can make money. Right? And another example would be an investor is someone who owns real estate, owns houses, owns properties, owns a hotel. Okay, and when they rent out the property to a tenant and the tenant pays them rental income, the investor generates money. Okay, so there's many ways investors make money, but the key thing that you want to understand is investors use money to generate more money for themselves. Okay, so I want you to take away this point of this video here. You need to move yourself from the left side to the right side. Get out of E and S as soon as possible and move to B and I. Why? Because the B and the I have the most important thing that we want, which is financial freedom. That means unlimited income potential. And time freedom. They control their own time. Okay, now time is the most precious asset anybody can have, because money cannot buy time. Okay, if you're like me, I'm 42 years old, I have a family, I have a son. All right, you will agree with me that time flies like this in a blink of an eye, and how you regret that you have more time to do to do more things in your life. Okay, really 24 hours a day is not enough for me. All right, so money cannot buy time. Time is the most important asset. Okay, so let's look at a few graphs, right, before we end this lesson. Okay, so the first graph, right, is this graph. Okay, so this graph shows you what a job looks like. On the left axis you have income, on the bottom axis is time. So as time passes, as you grow older, you work in a job, all right, for your whole life, 50 years, 60 years, right, 70 years. All right, as you work, your income may increase because your boss decides to give you a higher salary. Okay, even if you reach the top, you become a CEO of your company, your salary is fantastic. All right, you have great annual bonus, great benefits. But one day when you reach that age, the retirement age, you will still need to retire, right? Because your boss will tell you, sorry, you've hit your retirement age. Golden handshake, here's your Rolex watch if you're lucky, right? And please, just go and relax and retire. So that's the end of your income. Now, if you have been very, good with your financial management, you could have some savings, right? Good if you have savings, right? But if you don't have enough savings, then you're in trouble. Why? Because you start to find that you cannot retire because you don't have enough money. Okay, then you're forced to go out and look for another job. But the problem is you're already 55, you're already 65. How can you get the same kind of high salary that you had when you were 45? It's not possible, right? In the corporate world, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so even if you become an independent consultant, you're self-employed. If you work, you get money. If you don't work, you don't get money. So your income may, drop. until one fine day you really cannot work anymore and you have no more income. Okay, so is that what you want? I don't think so, right? The second option is if you're in traditional business, and traditional business looks like this: up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so that's the problem, right? Why? Because traditional business, you invest high investment, high risk. To start a small shop, okay, and you have to import some products to sell, you've already invested easily thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars just to start that shop, and you haven't made a single dollar yet. All right. And what if the market changes? What if technology changes? What if you have competition, right? And what if something happens to your staff? They steal your money. All kind of funny things. So it's up and down every day, every year. It's up and down. Okay. So the statistics show that if you start a traditional company, traditional business, only 1% make it to the top. 99% actually fail. Okay. So that's how high the failure rate of starting a traditional business. All right, so wow. All right, last chart here. Okay, this is my kind of business. I like businesses that are like this. Okay, I like money making opportunities that allow me to grow my money exponentially. What do I mean by exponential growth? It means if I invest $100 in this business to start this business, I can turn it into $1 million within, say, 2 to 3 years. Okay, that's how powerful the power of what we call exponential growth. Okay, so I like businesses that are like that. Do you? Okay, of course. What kind of businesses are like that? There are businesses like that. I'm going to show you in my lessons in my academy how I created my $1 million income, 7-figure income from this kind of business. Okay, so given a choice, right, what do you want? Option 1, a job. Okay, right, there's a joke saying job means just over broke. Okay, that means every month, right, you're spending more money than you're saving. Okay, or you have very little savings because you just have enough to survive, right? Option number 2, traditional business. Okay, up and down, 99% failure rate. Okay, high risk, high investment. Okay, it's very scary, right? How about a business where you have low investment, low risk, okay, or what we call managed risk, but it can grow exponentially every day over the next 2 to 3 years, 5, 10 years. You can turn 100 into 1,000, into 10,000, into 100,000, into $1 million or more every year. Okay, so 1, 2, or 3, which one do you choose? Okay, if you selected 3, congratulations, you're in the same mindset as myself. All right, so that ends today's lesson: why become a business owner and an investor. All right, so move on to the next lesson if you have time, and I'll be teaching you more fantastic things in my academy, Dennis Bay, right, where we educate, empower, and enrich lives globally. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next lesson.